Is that a joke for everybody? Guess not.
I went down and checked out your access trail to that fishing pier.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with your innovative approach to solving problems.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, see, I was down last week, and I seen looked like a scooter trail. You went down and came back up. So I wasn't there when the scooter was there, but the disabled scooter thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We took him down there and it worked. You know, went down, came right back up. So
Really cool.
worked good.
Yeah, I'm
He was
impressed.
happy. Very happy. Make it work.
Well, I came from an age that if you can do it for $50, why spend 10,000?
Yeah. Yeah. When you have limited budget, you know. But thank you. We're close. What's that? Yours? Oh, that's trash? Let me throw it away.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. We're going to do this. We'll go through everything. Okay, it is 6:30. We will call the July 23rd, 2018 City Commission meeting to order. First on the agenda is approve the July 9th, 2018 minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those?
I'll motion to approve the July 9th, 2018 meeting minutes.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay, Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Yes. Okay, okay, Old Courthouse, Mike Hurt, wanted that from last meeting.
What I have found, and the Prairie Carpet Service worked on the roof, and it blew off fairly soon. And I don't see in here any place that it had warranty that I can read from the original, and you should have a copy of this, Larry.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anything in there. I don't know if it was a verbal agreement or not, but I asked them to come look to see what they thought, and they thought it was wind damage. I don't want to say anything good or bad, but they came in with an estimate to repair it, and I don't think right now we should do that, because I'm not thinking that is the cure. And I talked to Tana, and I thought she was going to be here tonight, but she might have had other things come up. Rhonda was also at a steering meeting with me for the Jeffries building, and we discussed talking to the state, and I did talk to the state today, and they also referenced this Brown Fields program, Brownsfield, and they recommended that we probably should try for a grant to go with that, to see if there's anything that we can get to see if there's asbestos or mold or radon in there. And I thought she was going to present that today, because through the state, they won't come in and inspect it. They'll give us references so we can have somebody come in and look at each thing. And we don't have to do everything at one time, but if we do anything to it, we need to know the asbestos.
Right.
And work from there.
Okay.
So I'd like to give Tana some time here to work with this company and talk to them when she has time and see if we can go with a grant to inspect it.
This company gives out grants?
This company gives grants the way she said. Now, she wasn't sure if it was a full grant or a partial grant, but that's why I wanted her here to explain it, but she's been busy here lately, so.
And this is a grant for an inspection of like...
The way I understood it,
material.
be with the EPA, because it says EPA, I should have made you a
Okay.
copy of that,
Okay.
with the EPA.
Okay.
And the state was kind of leaning that way too. They did a deal up in Rugby for an old hospital, and they ended up tearing it down, but they did the inspection or did some of the hazardous. Was this kind of the way you understood it, Rhonda? You were at the more meetings than I was with this, so.
Hannah just mentioned bringing up the Brownfield grant, that it would help with the green building and the museum main building, getting them both together to get them fixed up for whatever problems they have.
And the way it sounded when I talked to her today, that we have to be kind of on board or willing to talk about it. But since she's not here, I'd like to table that for until next month to give her a
Till
chance.
next meeting?
Yeah,
Sure.
till next meeting, yes.
That's fine.
Next month, too.
But I wanted to give everybody,
Next month, too.
yeah.
Wow.
I wanted to give everybody an update because I didn't want to go through with this
Right.
repair because I wasn't too satisfied when I looked at it.
Yeah, I think, yeah. We'll probably have Randy make copies of those for everybody, and then...
Yeah, these
we
are
got
the
this one. We got
estimates.
this.
This one, I thought she was going to come in, and
Yeah.
I did not do the copy of that.
Okay, so we'll put that on the
Next meeting.
agenda for next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, our garbage contract is up this year. Do we want to continue on with Circle, or do we want to bid that out? I mean, I've been way happy with Circle.
Yep, I
think we
more than
should,
happy with them.
I think we should stay with them if everything is close or to it. So I'd make a motion to stay with Circle
Okay,
and, see if everything's the same or not.
well, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a...
Right, but,
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely like them. I haven't had any complaints that I've heard of, so.
no.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, any discussion on that? Anybody have any complaints with Circle? Okay, Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna motion, that we go with a 5-year contract this time. With Circle, instead of 3. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on that? Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we need to set up an interview committee for the receptionist position. I'm gonna say Rainey for one. Noel, do you want to be on?
Probably like the next person.
Colin, how about you? You've done a lot of interviewing.
Again.
Okay, I'll make a motion that that's our interview committee. Rainey, Colin, and Noel.
I'll second.
Discussion. Colin,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Yes. Okay. Then, you guys can, look at the apps, decide who you want to interview, and,
That is closed now, or is that still open?
it is closed. It's closed as of Friday.
How many did you get?
8.
Do we think that the interviews will be done by next meeting to?
I hope so, yes.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Yeah, of course they'll have to, whoever they
Yep.
decide to interview, they'll have to get hold of them, but yeah, next meeting's 2 weeks away, that should be plenty of time. Don't you think, Rainey? Okay. Okay, the computer on our Midco access channel went to poop. So, the question is, do we want a new computer? Do we want to buy a new computer for that? I know, I had talked with Rainey, we're scheduled to replace the,
One of the three computers this year.
and then what we do is, when we replace one, then it would go to the judge, that computer would, because it's better than one he has, or we could take the judges and possibly put it in there. But the thing is, the access channel is down right now. And did you have a time, you didn't have a time frame for that secretary computer, do you?
No, I just got the information from him
Yeah.
the
'cause
other
it-
day, so, I mean, if we wanted to move faster on that, we could, but, I mean, the access channel is not an access, I mean, it's non-existent right now. So do you want to wait until that other computer is available, or do you want to move forward with a new computer?
And it is in the budget for this year to replace that computer, so it's not like we're just, it is in the budget for this year to replace that.
But the one that would then go to that access channel, what's each out?
They're old.
Well, the thing is, it's basically just a PowerPoint program is all that's running. It doesn't do anything.
Right.
But, with that being said, that it does have the capabilities to put, like, video on there also. So do we need to have something a little more modern to do that? At one time, they actually put these meetings on the access channel, but that, for some reason, 5 years ago.
So what was the budget amount for the computer this year?
$1,200. And it will take all of that to replace one of those computers in there. So it would just be taking the oldest one and moving it to that.
We need to do something, so I'd say,
And we need to keep the public informed.
Thing is, you can get a desktop computer for
right, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
for,
$250, $300.
right, to do what we need to here.
Right.
Right.
So then the question would be, do we want to upgrade the one computer now and move it over? If you said it's in the budget this year, to replace one?
Yeah.
So, it doesn't make much sense to spend $300 on one to get by an access channel and then spend another $1,200 to replace an existing one.
Well, what would happen is the one that we replace for $1,200 would go to the judge.
Right. And then his we could use on the access channel.
Well, hopefully, his is really old.
Is it?
Yeah. It's one of those that fits under the mouse. It's one of those flat ones, yeah. It's really old.
Okay.
But, I don't know.
But it might be easier to get a cheaper computer, even, one of the tablets just about to run the access channel, just something real,
Right.
and not try to retrofit his, because the day you try to change it over, it might die or might not accept it or be done.
That's very true.
So the only thing that they said was to be careful with the adaption, like how it's hooked up. So to make it be the access channel, the hookups, you might have to buy adapters.
Right.
The PGA hookup, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's not a big deal. I don't think.
Right.
Really, I think, we just buy a $300 computer, and like Mike said, it is information for the public, so.
It's not processing, so we don't need all the speed and the fancy bells and whistles.
Right.
Right. And that way, if his is that old, it just might not be worth it.
That's pretty old, yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
look, see what we need and,
Yeah.
you know, maybe set a more than $500 limit.
Yes.
With the understanding we'll still upgrade
Oh, yeah.
the other,
Oh,
the other
absolutely.
one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we know that, we're not
Right.
trying to cut his out. That's
Oh,
just-
no. Yeah.
Right.
With access, judge, was there another two? Receptionist?
Well, the receptionist one is set to be replaced, and then that one would go to the judge. And then I think next year, we're looking at a server and everything, because,
Yeah,
but that we can talk about at the budget,
yeah.
so.
I make a motion, we purchase a new computer for the access channel, not to exceed $500.
Okay.
Thanks. Go ahead. I second it.
Any other discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Yes. Okay. Get Adam on that, find one. American Legion. Terry and Darrell.
Okay, I'm sure you're wondering about Memorial Hall Kitchen. Okay, what I'm asking for is permission to form a committee to investigate possibly building a kitchen on the main floor of Memorial Hall. There's those 3 rooms on the east, the southeast side. And to build a kitchen, I think it's needed. It would be used. And what I'm thinking is that the committee will design it and seek cost estimates, and then develop a payment plan, and also report to the city council. And I'm looking probably six months down the road is before anything we'd be back with any concrete plans. So what I'm asking for is just the okay to set up a committee.
Yeah, I think it would be, it would just make it more usable. I think it's a great idea. You know, at least come up with a plan, and it's a good start.
Because there was a estimate to redo the basement kitchen, I think for about $14,000 or something like that, just for the cabinets.
Right.
And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna spend something, this might be a better option.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having 2 kitchens.
All right, yeah.
You know, a small function downstairs, large function upstairs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think we need a motion on this. I think we can just, you know, go ahead and do it, I would think, right? Unless we want a motion, but I don't think we need one.
I'm okay with it. You know.
I mean, I would volunteer to be on that committee.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You wanna, and I don't know if this falls under that area, but, you know, with First District Health, being it's in a city building, is there any certain codes that have to be met?
Oh, it would definitely have to go, meet all codes, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Stainless steel, I think, right, and all that stuff.
Whatever they are, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess that's part of the research.
Yep.
Will have to be done. You know, we'll obviously make it right, you know, want something to last well into the future, so.
And it might help the community, like, I'm just putting this out here. Let's say somebody wants to do a little cooking or something to get kids involved or something like that, so they would have someplace to
Idea.
be shown how to do something, maybe with the library or something. Read the, you know, and give them something basic or something, with everybody,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely
watching
an
and
idea,
stuff, you know. have them learn how to make Coogan, you know.
It could be a nice venue,
Right.
you know, that great big open area. There's been times where a kitchen, upstairs kitchen would have been very handy,
Mhm.
you know.
For more than just that, you know.
Well, our goal is to make the Memorial Hall usable and have people using it, like for receptions and because we believe that every time there's a reception, like a wedding reception, pumps in probably $5,000 into the community. And that might be hard to understand, but you know, the city makes $250. If you have, say you have a wedding reception with 300 people, if you cater the meal in, you're looking at $1,500. The liquor sales will be $1,500. That's already $3,750. Some people come in from out of town will stay in the motels. They'll eat breakfast the next morning. They're going to go to the bars, like brides and grooms and groomsmen, and they all, you know what they do. They go to all the bars, so it's probably a minimum of $5,000. So our goal is to use the hall. You know, this year we have one wedding. Last year I think we had 0. And we're working on sound system. We're working on a lot of things to get people to use the hall. There's no reason people drive to Bismarck, go to 1603, and to have a wedding when we have a better facility here.
Right. They could do it along the river, then come here, you know, for
Well, there's
the reception here at the hall, you know, afterwards.
when somebody from Washburn goes to Bismarck and has a reception there, Washburn gets $0, get nothing. You know, and we're trying to make that hall usable. We want people to use it because it's good for the city. It's economic development.
And that way, if a catering company wants to come in, they rent it from you know.
Absolutely, but they
Yeah,
rent it from the
you know.
city. That's a city building.
Right, but I mean, rent it so that they can cater it,
Yes.
so they don't bring their stuff in on cars and stuff. They got a kitchen then.
We've had 2 weddings in that Memorial Hall. The first one had no air conditioning. So we went outside in 100-degree weather to cool off. The American Legion helped to put air in that. So that's not an issue anymore. So we have air. But we had the meals catered. The first one we had Tammy Fire at the cafe do it. The second one we had the Super Value. And both of them were good. Well, Super Value makes really good chicken. And they brought, I think, 300 pieces or 400 pieces and salads, potato salad. And so without having a catering company, there already is an option for catering. Plus the cabin at the other 2 restaurants. We already have the potential. We just need people using the hall and using that potential.
Well, and the more options, or the more amenities, the more chance to use it.
Absolutely, I think, yes.
Find a program or something to get the community involved in it to do this stuff.
So you're going to put together a committee then?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
very good. Love it. Okay, next we have beer cake.
Okay. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, about 15 or 20 years ago, the city commission banned beer kegs in Memorial Hall. And I don't know if that was from the request of the custodial staff or if it was the Legion that requested it. I don't know. I know that rule is there. Every time we have a function, beer kegs come up. So what I would like is that we allow beer kegs in the Memorial Hall. And what I propose we do is put it in that room where you go into our upstairs bar. It's that 7-foot by 9-foot room that has the sink. And have the beer keg in there, put some rugs down. If there's a mess, we will clean it up. I'll personally make sure it's cleaned up so that our custodial staff doesn't have to try to clean up the mess, if there is one.
Right.
Now, I'm worried about, there were issues with the flooring, putting that covering on. You know, you pull the covering on, would that be out in that area?
No.
It would only be in that
It
room
would-
where they drink it.
Well, they would drink it out.
Drink it, they could drink it out.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, with that flooring, there was an issue about putting that down, what would that clean up easily on that covering? When they put the covering down for
Well,
the
the
down?
covering's coming off.
So the beer would be going on the floor there then?
If we don't get keg beer, we're gonna have canned beer.
You're gonna have drinks no matter what.
Beer,
You're gonna
beer,
drink them
beer
out.
is beer.
Water, soda,
If-
whatever.
And,
it's gonna
and
get-
of course, someone's gonna spill a beer.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, if it's in a cup or if it's in a can, so it's the same thing either way.
But your mixed drinks are in cup.
Yeah,
And they'll always be in a cup, yeah.
Yeah.
but that's, what I'm worried about is, are we going to affect the floor that was just put in, right?
But if you're gonna leave that down, then you can forget about your weddings and stuff,
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm curious
because
about.
they're coming there to dance and everything else, and
Yeah,
you
that-
can't do anything on that covering.
That covering was a bad idea.
Well, I've tripped on it. I've seen lots of people get their toe caught in it and trip. It's dangerous. It like Darrell says, it wasn't a good idea. It was a bad idea from the get-go. And
So I'm going to make a motion that we amend our Memorial Hall rules and allow the American Legion to have kegs in there. Because they, all the
alcohol is,
alcohol has to be bought from them.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we.
I already motioned.
Oh, you did? Okay. I thought you said somebody needs to make.
No, I said I make a motion.
I will second that.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Mom?
Aye.
Yes.
thank you, guys.
Yeah. Next is chair storage.
Chair storage area in Memorial Hall. And on the southwest corner, the floor was raised up, and they cut the doors off, and they're barely about 6 feet tall. And what I would like to do is to take that header out, move it up 18 inches, 2 feet, and then there's nothing, Larry looked at it,
Not
there's
supporting.
nothing, the header holds absolutely nothing. And then there's a rack, a rail. You see them in new houses all the time. They're black and the big wheels, and the door slides
Kind of
up.
like a barn,
Barn door.
the old
Yeah,
barn door,
at Menards, they call it Colonial Elegance Matte Black Steel Wagon Wheel Sliding Barn Door Kit. It's like $100. So I'm thinking it'll cost like $500, and we'd just do it, right? We would, in our American Legion Club, we have retired carpenters that built houses all their lives, don't we?
I guess we do.
And I would try to get volunteer to do the work. And then we'd put that in, and I think it would look way better than what it does now.
Yeah.
And then the chair racks would fit in there, because the chairs hit even on the other side. Memorial Day was several times the chairs would hit the other one. And that's a little bit bigger room. The chairs would work really good over here, but the door needs to be raised. So I want to go ahead for that. We'll take care of that cost. It'll probably cost us about $500.
Does it have to be locked or anything like that?
It isn't now,
Okay,
yeah, and now it's, the doors are just sitting there.
yeah, and you don't think you ever want to lock that, right?
Well, it's just a chair storage.
Yeah.
I'm just,
No,
The Legion,
it's never been locked.
okay,
the Legion bought these racks, those chair racks. We used to have racks that were, probably somebody built them, and they were impossible to move. So we bought these racks, they're double stacks.
Mhm.
They work really good, except the top chairs are too high.
Yep.
So,
Those are really nice racks. Nice spot.
they are, well, we bought twice. I think it cost us about $2,000 for racks,
Yeah.
but we bought some chairs too. Because we're all getting older and we don't like carrying chairs up from downstairs for Memorial Day. So we spent some money on chairs.
Okay, we need a motion on that.
I make a motion to allow Legion to raise the door to allow chair access.
I second it.
Any further discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, speaker installation. Okay, what I'm asking is that the rest of the bill, and it could be as much as $9,000, that the city pays for that, with the American Legion reimbursing the city in quarterly payments of $2,500 per quarter to pay the full amount. And it may not be $9,000. Right now we're having John Klein, Smitty, build the hanging brackets, and he said this week he's going to build them.
Okay.
And I don't know what he's going to charge us. He may build them for nothing, but maybe just for the material. And then we'll need some electrical, so we'll get
Jamie?
that guy, yeah, a local guy to do it. And my plan is to go into our new system that was installed when we had the air conditioning put in.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with when you ever get in the hall, go downstairs and look at the old electrical system and the new one. The only thing that's on the new one is the air conditioners. So that it's got a lot of capacity. There's multiple spots, breakers that you can add to, and it's closest. The old one is heavy duty to begin with, and then there's multiple boxes been added on. It's scary. It scares the
The old
hell
one's
out of
very
me.
scary.
But I don't think it's a problem, but every chance we get to take some stuff off of there and put it on a new system, I think we should. So,
Yeah. A lot of stuff I think has been taken off that old system, kind of redone over the years, but yeah.
well, I think it's adequate.
It's adequate.
You know, the service coming in is huge.
Mhm.
It's old. It's
Yeah.
1950 model.
Right. So anyway, we need a motion actually I'll make the motion to pay the installation fees for the sound system with the American Legion reimbursing us $2,500 per quarter.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Yeah, so whenever the bill comes in, I guess.
If
Yeah.
you would, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy needs to order some more stuff.
So the bills will come to you and then you'll bring them to us, or is that how it goes, or how's that gonna work?
I might just send Jeremy down to see.
That's usually last.
Okay.
Got it directly here.
Okay, all right, very good. Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
yes. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Unless you have anything
Thank
else.
you.
On our list.
Our list is done.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for everything you do. Man, it's so appreciated.
Well, we're a service organization,
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
just like that other one that gets credit for everything, the Lions.
All right.
Do you need somebody to look at them buildings or asbestos?
Well, that's what we're working through, and I was thinking sometime, once we get our stuff together, somebody take a sample of some of this and send it in and see what it is, but you have to be certified for it.
I know a guy in Mant that's certified, I mean, that's what he
Oh, really?
did.
Right. And
I'm going up there tomorrow and I can
you can inquire about it for us,
Yeah, I
would be
can-
nice.
do that.
Yeah, that way we can see what's in there, because I don't know what's in there, and,
I'm sure he'd probably come down because he's kind of, I think, more than half retired, so.
Okay, God, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great, just get a hold of us.
that way we can take some samples, and if we have to, when I talked to, the state, NDSU used to do mold sampling too. But I don't know if he's certified for that, to take a sample or not. That's, we've got to work through it, but that would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll check into that for you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you, guys. A2S update. Eric.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Gave you guys a update sheet, and since we're going to be talking budget next, I know that Linda has been in touch with Rainey on a few things. And for 2019, that's what I have for the 4 items: intake projects, our general engineering services, water plant engineering, and for any potential street projects that we would do in 2020. We most likely would want to start design in 2019.
Yep.
So that's more of a placeholder for that, if we would do that. So I guess to talk a little bit more about the intake project, some of you are aware of the funding that we have available for it. Some of you might not be as familiar. Right now, with the State Water Commission, we do have funds available in a 65-35 cost share grant. And right now, that 65% would be up to $2.3 million. That would be the extent of the cost share. So that would cover, the majority of that intake project. The rest of it, we're hoping to cover with that FEMA pre-disaster mitigation grants. So I know I talked about that in months past, but just to update you guys, last year there was $95 million available for this fund, for this grant funding. This year there's going to be $250 million available, so a lot more funds are available, and we're going to go ahead and reapply for that grant when the application period opens. I did get a call into Justin Messner at the Department of Emergency Services, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I called him today again. That application period he thinks is going to be in August, but he doesn't know until they tell him. It's when it happens. In years past, it's been August, September, in that time frame. So as soon as I find out that application period is open, I'll go ahead and update what we have, what we submitted from last year, and we'll reapply for that FEMA grant. So with the State Water Commission and the FEMA grant funding, we hope to cover all the costs of the intake project. And I talked to Rainey about this ahead of the meeting. The city would have to be prepared to pay for the project as it happens, and then they would get reimbursed from both of these types of funds. So it would be, after the fact. So that's why it's going to be on the budget for the full amount of the project. And then we did talk about it again. I'll just keep going down the list here. Last time I was here, we talked about updating our bathymetric survey, or the river survey, and that's one thing we'll want to look at doing, this fall after the river starts coming down, which end of this month, beginning of August is what I was told, when the river they're supposed to start drawing back on the releases at the dam. So we'll see if that holds true or not, but thinking probably September, October, we want to be looking at getting that survey done again. So.
Any questions on that? Anyone?
The numbers that I have for the general engineering services, for water plant engineering, those are conservative numbers. In years past, we've been up more than that, and we've been less than that. But that's more than the conservative side for those two things. So I'd rather you guys see it as being worse and then it being better than I tell you a number and then you come back and like, oh, we're gonna be over the budget. So.
Okay. I see you got a water treatment plant ceiling there, Dave?
Yeah, Dave is still working on that. I asked Jasper about it today, and I guess Dave was either reviewing the contract further or he had a guy he needed to check with. But we're just waiting to hear back from what Dave thinks the city should do on pursuing that. But
Dave was at our last meeting.
well, he wasn't.
And he said, yeah, he thought by the next meeting, you know, he would have something, but I think he was thinking the next month.
Like August.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I think, so.
So we'll keep in touch with Dave on that, and you know, we get that issue resolved.
Yeah,
So you guys don't have to worry about.
yeah, it'd be nice to get something on that.
Yeah.
So. Anybody have any questions for Eric?
For me, I talked to you about over by Getz Funeral Home, the water's coming rushing over that side. He said he talked to somebody from AS2. I don't know who it was.
Did, the funeral director, Paul Sanis, did he talk to you at all?
Was it recently?
I don't know when he talked to you, or when he talked to the company. I was made aware of it when I talked to him about a week and a half ago. The water's coming down that hill, then there's a parking space there, and it spreads out, then it goes completely over the lawn where the sign is. And I don't know if there's anything,
Are you talking on 6th Street or on Main?
6th Street down to Main.
You know, you can come down 6th Street, you know, and then I think we had you guys come in and mill some of that off, so it would probably be better, you know, around in front of the funeral home.
So it comes down 6th, takes a right, and goes down Main?
Yeah, I
The
think.
water?
No, if I hear you correctly,
Yeah,
what's happening is instead of staying in the channel, it kind of goes in the parking area and goes over.
yes,
that little
over the top.
curve.
And see, somebody told him that there was going to be a concrete deal, so it goes straight across. So I have no idea, and I'm just new here, so I'm just asking.
I'll go look at it. I know that what used to happen is the water used to hang a right and go down Main Street, but then there was too much, it puddled up there.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
what he
did-
said, but
when
now
we-
it's washing over his landscaping there when it's coming downhill. If you look, you'll see all the sand and stuff on there.
Okay.
And
I'll
I
go-
don't know if there is something we can do about it.
I'll go
but
look at it
He mentioned
before I
it,
leave town for sure.
so I have no idea, so.
Hey, I'm not really sure either. I mean, you know, a lot, I think, depends on how much rain we get.
Yeah, was it a
Right.
big rain event or was it,
See, he didn't explain that, it's just that, and I think he talked to him after the project was kind of finished last year and he was having trouble. And he
Well,
made mention of it.
I know before the steel coat project, I know that he had trouble with a large area of their parking along Main Street would fill up with water. Because it had been steel coated so many times, there was no curb, there's no gutter left on the curb. Because it had built up, there was all the way to the top of the curb.
Right.
So when we went back in there, we milled that down, and then we redid the steel coat back down, but we left, you know, so there's actually a gutter there. So now the water was going down Main Street.
Yeah, we
I'll
need to
check.
look at it.
I'll check with him. I'll ask Jasper too if he did talk to somebody at A2.
That's what he said, now,
Okay.
Well, and the thing is too, when that project was done, nothing was done on Main, so, you know, it wasn't designed so the water would go across Main. It just had to go what was already there.
Yeah, 'cause there's-
Where his garage is, that approach there, I'm guessing he comes down and catches.
No, I think you're not talking across the street. You're talking.
no, but where it
On the
comes down the
funeral.
hill on his side, there's
Yeah.
like these parking spots there. That's pretty flat, that curves up just a little bit. And it's running down there, and I think it's washing up into the sidewalk, into that deal.
So it's not a six-inch curb, it's more of just a tapered.
It's just a tapered deal where they park, the way it looks. I don't think there's any curb there.
Well,
You know, where you
yeah,
park.
Yeah. I think, yeah, but that's was by design.
The valley gutter runs down So that, as you go up the hill, the curb line, if you turn and look up the hill,
Yep.
there's the curb line from the standard curb and gutter. And as it comes down the hill and he has that little parking area that's along 6th Street,
Mhm.
the valley gutter follows the same curb line as the standard curb from up the hill, so it's a straight line. So all the water that's being carried from the curb and gutter up the hill should continue down
Right,
that
but
valley
that
gutter.
don't always work that way. You know, you got that big curb up there, if you got water here, and all of a sudden you go from a tall curb, it just spreads out.
Okay, so.
That's why I'm wondering.
But it's getting up into his landscaping.
Yeah, it's getting up into the sidewalk the way it looks to me, and into his corner there where the post is what he complained about. Now, I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. Person might have to just, when it rains, go look what it's actually doing. Because he just mentioned it, and I just wanted somebody to be aware of it.
What's his name again?
Paul.
Okay, I will look into that.
Okay.
Jasper.
Anything else for Eric? No. Thank you, Eric.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. See, there's an elected official workshop. Sorry that there's really not much notice on this. Tomorrow evening in Bismarck, and it's elected official workshop. It's for any elected official that wants to go. It's from 5:30 to 7:30. Hosted by the League of Cities. If you want to go, you know, the city will reimburse you for mileage and the cost. It's $25 and a meal or whatever. So if anybody wants to go to that, you know, you sure can go. And like I said, the city will reimburse you for that. So. Sorry, it's kind of short notice. And the one tomorrow is the last one that they have. Okay. Okay. Colin, do you have anything?
Maybe some good news. I haven't smelled anything coming out of the city lagoon for a little while. So I'm thinking we've got it narrowed down to the fish cleaning station has been the issue. I just looked through the bills. That looks like we only got one bill from them for one pumping. I'm gonna have to give them a call, find out if I have it up to do twice a month. The product we're adding up there seems to be taking care of itself.
I know it's a lot better. So, absolutely. You know, I think there's still a little bit, but boy, it's that's good.
That's all I got on that.
Okay. Mike? Well, I don't have anything at this time. Rainey, do you have anything? Anybody in the audience? Turk?
Dave called back about Sanders,
Okay.
and he said, I'm glad we did this today because they no longer make smaller Sanders. The only thing we could get would be a Super P,
Okay.
and they don't make 7 or 8 footers anymore. They got to do the 9 or the 10s, and then they have another Super P at high capacity. One drawback to the whole thing is 20,000 gross vehicle weight is what we have to have.
For that extra capacity one.
Yeah.
I think we put enough on the way it is, you know, with regular capacity, don't you?
Oh, yeah, but the big thing was, he says, you have to be able to load it up. Put it this way, our truck is not, it says 2 ton on it, only a ton and a half. It's got on the insurance card, it said 2 ton. Then I went over to talk to Tim about the gross vehicle weight, and he said, that's only a ton and a half.
Okay.
So he said, you're kind of undersized if we had to go with these other bigger ones, and that's all they've got available.
And those are stainless?
Yeah, they're stainless.
Well, we could always just not put as much on. Because the Unimog would definitely handle it,
Yeah, oh, yeah, that would happen.
you know, so. Did he give you a price, or?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. The Super P is $7,200. Now that's just a bare bones, you know, that's no inverted, you have that inverted in there so you don't get rocks or junk in there. You got that, and that's not the screen on top, and that's $800. And so he said, and then that's not, certain other parts of the hydraulics, you know, well, whoever would do the actual,
Right.
so he said that you have to, and then you're gonna talk to the guy down, like I think I told you, Force America.
Right.
So you're gonna talk to him and see what he comes up with.
Okay.
So all we have to do is decide between a 9 or a 10 foot, you know, and the one we have now, I think is, it works out like 9, it seems like it's 9 and a half, I believe.
That's what I was thinking.
So,
So you should have something by next meeting then?
Oh, yeah,
So, which will be on the 6th.
yeah.
So, okay.
What else did you say about that? Oh, when you talked about having a regular motor rather than doing the hydraulic,
Yeah,
then I mentioned that to Tim, I said something about, well, going hydraulic, he said, and I said, because I don't want to go with those old motors like you, or engines we used to have, and Tim goes, they make cold weather motors for that now. He said they're not even comparable with what we had 15 years ago.
well, yeah,
He said they really are pretty good.
yeah.
So,
Well, they're electronic, just,
Yep.
and they run up.
and he said they run like a top in cold weather, so he said you might want to go that route rather than replumb everything underneath.
Because if we replumb, it's gonna be really expensive,
Right.
so I would check into that, I think,
Okay.
so.
All right.
Don't you think so, everybody? I mean, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, just so we have that option, because we're talking what kind of truck, Chevy truck or what?
Chevy C4500.
Well, we have that flatbed truck out here that,
Right,
we need a spare sander, our other one's like shot, our spare sander is shot.
right, because some of those, all it is a serpentine belt and a pump with electric clutch.
Right.
Which, I don't know if the hydraulic valves would come with that kit or not, on the sander or
I
not.
don't believe so. Well, the
Because-
belts for the sander might, but,
Right, so it's whether it's a gas engine or this electric pump,
right.
you know, or electric engaged hydraulic pump, because a lot of our pick and rolls have that.
Yeah,
And in the cold weather, it's a lot better, so you can warm that up and circulate that oil,
right.
than trying to get that engine to try to do all that.
Well, that's true. The thing is, that truck, there's really no room under that hood. There is, it is tight in there.
Well, that's why they make kits for all
Yeah, I
that
know.
stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we can check both ways, so, yeah, okay. Very good. Anything else?
Trevor's done, summer help.
Oh, he is?
He just announced that today, he'll be done Wednesday, so.
Oh, kind of unexpected?
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
so you know that now.
So are we gonna need another person for tarring?
I'll ask Gavin tomorrow and see what he thinks.
Okay, you guys figure out what you need.
Right.
Okay.
Can we come back to for 1 second, me?
Well, wait, Brian's done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay,
fine.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Regarding, I know a lot of people have given me compliments, and I agree, the fishing access does look pretty darn good.
Mhm.
I think we had asked you guys to look at the ADA compliant part of it, or no? To you guys, Eric, to make sure that we did the right slope and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually seen
Okay,
the ramp yet, so it's another thing I'll have to go check out here.
okay,
But I can look into that, I guess.
okay,
Yeah.
and then,
There are some exceptions to the ADA rules also, which I have been looking up to. so.
okay. And the other, I guess probably one of the more big things, again, it does look really good, but there's quite a drop off. Can we put some sort of rails on one
It's
side?
not totally done yet.
Okay, okay,
You know, it needs a little more work. As far as rails, maybe, I don't know, we'll have to look at that. It
Something-
might be really tough because there's a bunch of rocks in there just for stabilization, so.
well, I was thinking even like, you know how the school has that along, that, because it's a high slope. Maybe if we did something kind of like that, just kind of,
Yeah, we'll look at it, sure. If you look at that, Eric, give me a call when you come up.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Anything else, Mark?
Nope, that was it, sorry.
Anybody else? Okay. Bills? Everybody get a chance to look at the bills?
All motions to pay bills.
Second. Any questions, comments on the bills?
I do.
Yes.
The dirty deeds,
Yes.
I guess I wasn't quite sure what that was for,
Which one?
dirty deeds.
What happened there is, when they were boring this new fiber optics in, they put a water line, a service line that we did not know was there. The issue with that was, and we covered that, we covered this part of it because years ago, originally that water line was 8 feet down. Well, on that curb, when somebody built their garage and they put a new driveway in, they cut it way down and then went back up. So it was only like 5 feet of cover over it. So the boring people were actually only 5 feet down. But since that driveway was put in, it made, not as much cover over the top of it. So the boring company actually did the digging and filling back up for nothing. So we just covered the fixing the pipe.
And that was in city right of way, or is that?
Yeah, oh yes, it was
Okay.
city right, it was in a boulevard.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So which I thought was really nice of them, they didn't charge us and, we just had to do that. So that's what that's for.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions on the bill? Okay. Do we have a motion to table? We did, right? Colin?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. Norm?
Aye.
Yes. Okay, we will move on to the budget.
We all have paper copies of the preliminary. There were just a few items that have changed from what you saw before, but.
I guess to start out, we got the mill value, which is it's estimated to be at $4,674. And as you see on the top there in yellow, Rainey plugged in 210,330, which is 45 mills, right? Correct, Rainey?
Correct.
And that's just kind of our starting point, because that's about where we were last year. What was it last year, like 46.1 or something, or 0.2 or something?
Yeah, it was close.
Very close, very close to that. That's just the starting point there, so. Okay, so, I don't know if everybody had a chance to review these. If there's any questions on anything, or any, or Rainey, if you've got something you want to talk about, or.
There were just some things that were highlighted in yellow, just things that I'm waiting to get some answers back on, or so like the Washburn Park Board. I've requested some information from them. I've not yet received it, but I've plugged in a number there, so you can see that there. Same way with the forestry. I've asked for a figure from them. Have not received anything from them, so I'm yellow.
Which page are you on there?
I'm on page 3.
Okay.
Of the general fund. So those items that are in yellow are things that I'm waiting for some documentation back from those individuals.
Okay. You know what? Why don't we start on page 1? And we'll just kind of go down. I think that's probably the best way rather than jumping all over. So, we've got our revenues, I guess, to start out. And I know you tried to, rather than just kind of putting extra revenue in, you kind of tried to make them at least closer to what they might be.
Yeah, so what I did is you can see 17 budget is off to the left, then 17 actuals are the next new column. then I put in 18's budget, and then I put in 18 year-to-date, so that's through June, because that's the financials that he's got approved so far, or we've seen so far. So those numbers are through June, and then 2019 budget, I went back and looked at what's the history, as far as actuals, what's been budgeted, and then put in a figure that seemed reasonable based on the past history. So that was the thought process for a lot of those, was looking back, see what actually happened, and budget similarly.
And then like for your, number 17, intergovernmental revenue, those figures you basically called the state on those, correct? And that's what they gave you?
Got
or-
documentation on, yeah, all of those, not
Okay.
from the state, it came from the League of Cities, which got it from the other entities.
Mhm. Yeah, wow, cold severance. Oh, I see, okay, yeah, I'm looking at actual. All right. Okay. Miscellaneous revenue. And if anybody sees has any questions on these, feel free to ask.
I made some notes on the other one, just,
Yeah.
like down, the line 47, group insurance. Like historically, 7,000, 7,100, and we budget 21,600.
Yeah.
Is there something that's,
So historically, I believe that there was not much there, just previous employees. So this is the auditor line, those two lines, wages, overtime, and group insurance is the auditor positions line. So that's insurance for that position.
You know what, though, if you look at number 51, it's kind of like,
we were higher, and,
the figures were
yeah.
switched around, almost.
No, so if you look at that section, so that 61, or that 4160, you'll see that wages line. You'll see those positions, their percentage are listed next to their name as far as what's charged to that account. So I
Right.
did the same thing with the insurance. So that's why you see those two names and the percentages next to that group insurance. So that's
Uh-huh.
only a percentage of their group insurance is charged to that account.
Okay.
The other accounts that their salaries are charged to have similar health insurance charged to those accounts.
Okay. Is that health insurance, those ones we're talking about, or is that?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I see, okay, yeah, got it.
And in the past, you had more employees, so it was higher.
Right. Anybody else have any other questions on page 1? Okay. Oh, never mind. Got it. That Banyan, that's a yearly fee that we pay, is that correct? I think?
Correct, yeah.
Is that something new?
No. Let me see.
Or was it just broken in a different area before? Because there's no history.
So you'll see that it's italicized, so it was just broke out just for notation purposes. It's all rolled up into that number up above
Okay.
on that line.
Okay, gotcha.
That's in the, what, 15,000 you mean? Or,
No,
No.
he was, like, if you look at 2018 budget, that 20,500.
oh, I see, oh, okay, I see, oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha.
They just break it out so that you can see what some of those parts are to that number.
Makes sense.
So it is not part of the 15.5, you do roll those three
Right.
numbers together.
Yeah. insurance reserve, we did not pay anything in 2017, or,
So that's billed in November, that's that note off to the side there.
yeah, but there was nothing budgeted in there. So.
No, I found that was budgeted twice.
Oh, okay. There's this debt service transfer out. You want to explain that one a little bit? Ken?
So, yep, so if you look at the debt services section, which we haven't gotten to yet, but that's one of your handouts, is the debt services are the specials. So, those 7 pages are all the specials that are being assessed. So contacted the county auditor for the revenue that's being, that should be brought in 19. Got those numbers from him on the revenue for each of those specials. And then the expenditure section pulled out each of the amortization schedules for those bonds and plugged in those actual expenses for the principal and interest. Not all of them had notated what the service charges were, so if it was, if it's a round number, then it's something that I just estimated based on the past history. So if you go down that sheet, you'll see numbers off to the right comparing the revenue versus the expenditures, so you'll see positive and negative all the way down to the off to the right, and when you get down to the bottom, you'll see that it's in the red, $212,000. And so my note on this general fund is asking just, is the general fund going to be supporting this deficit in this case?
In other words, it has to come from somewhere.
It has to come from somewhere. So there's a few different possibilities as far as why it's this way, but I needed to plug that number somewhere, so this is where I put it. I will do some research as to why it is the way that it is, but in order to get the budget complete, plug that number there.
And if you see on this, debt service funds, most of them are in the red. So, yeah. I'm assuming everybody's, well, okay, let's go to the bottom of page 2. Starting at 100, we got old courthouse, city hall flooring and paint, memorial building kitchen project, and painting exterior memorial building.
So some of these items were in for 18, and since they've not been completed, we're assuming that they probably won't, and so we just moved some of those numbers over into 19. So that's why those are there. With this debt service thing, that kind of scares me a little bit. So, I would just assume like I think we can wait another year for like the city hall flooring and paint. We could take 20 grand off there. Because if you go to the bottom of page 3, our general fund looks like it's going to be about 400,000 in the red. So I think we're going to need to cut back somewhere. And granted, this isn't we still have one more meeting on this. It's not like everything has to be packed out right now, but it's stuff to consider. Memorial Building kitchen project, I think
since Legion's gonna be working on something there, I think, you know, we just kind of do one project at a time there.
So you want me to remove that?
Well, I don't know, what does everybody think? I guess that right now I'd like to remove the flooring and paint and then the kitchen project. Any thoughts?
I was thinking we should leave a little bit for the paint, for touch-ups, just a
For
little.
in here?
No, for the memorial building, so if they're gonna move that header, we might need to paint a little bit, and maybe the Legion will cover that. But, you know,
Well, I mean,
that's minimal, but.
yeah. But, you know, I guess I'm not worried about, you know, $100 for paint.
Okay.
You know, that's,
And it probably come actually out of this lease budget anyway,
right.
but.
So, I mean, is everybody fine with that, or?
Well, there was talk at one time about cementing in between the two buildings. But is that in a different place? Is there anything, I know it says paint and flooring and stuff, but I didn't know if that was plugged into some other place maybe.
Well, it would be under buildings and grounds expenses, you know, yeah, that would be, would go under there.
Because just in case we need a little bit, you know,
Right.
because the gutters are messed up on that side of the building.
I know, yeah, it's bad, but, you know, we would need some kind of a bid on that or something, I mean, that's,
Right, right. But that way we'd have a little bit in the budget for that.
yeah. They said they would cost share that,
Right, exactly, but we have to have a little bit somewhere.
yeah.
Could we maybe just make a list of proposals to cut and not cut anything per se right now, and wait till the final meeting?
We can. But the thing is, you know, if we're gonna cut stuff and then she needs to refigure these,
Right.
you know, after the next meeting, there ain't much time left. You know, there's only a couple days and then it has to be in the county. So, and, you know, Randy would have to refigure all these things. And I think the more we can do now and then lesser
Right.
later, that's
Yep.
what I think.
I hate to cut everything and then be sorry that we did it. 'Cause-
What's this old courthouse for 15,000?
Well, that's the old museum over there.
Right, and we're working on the grants like that, so I'd like to see some of that pulled down a little bit for numbers to help us.
Well, I think originally that was put in there with the idea that the commission back then, you know, wanted to, you know, stick a lot of money in that building. You know, redo the windows, redo the doors, you know, blah, blah, blah.
But that wasn't used from the years before though, right? And that's why I got plugged into the number now?
Well, I don't know, you know, it's, you know, over the years, there's been some work done, I mean, when was the last time any work was done to that building? You know,
16,
Well, that roof, right?
right.
And then,
And there was some gutters done somewhere along the way?
That was, the gutters on the print shop was done about the same time as the roof of the print shop.
Right.
And that wasn't done right either.
No.
I had that.
yeah.
So we need to see where we're going with that
Right.
before we budget a bunch of money or any money for it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'd like to take out, like I said, I think the city hall flooring in here can go, you know, for now. And then the kitchen project, I think we kind of wait and see what the Legion comes up with. You know, those are kind of wants rather than needs.
Well, that's what I'm, you know, looking at some of these, like even old courthouse, you know.
Right.
It'd be nice, but.
Take
it's a
some of
want,
that out.
It's not a need,
That's right.
you know, because we got
Right.
$400,000 to come up with
Yeah,
to get us in the black.
yeah. I mean, I would like to take those last four out of there, quite honestly. you know, the thing is, you know, painting the exterior of the memorial building, I don't know, is it bad? I don't know.
Yeah, I think for the the budget, I think we should pull most of that money out of there. Maybe keep a little bit in just in case we have to do some sampling or something like that in the deal. You know, just give us a little bit of wiggle, but take most of it out.
Well, how about put 5,000 in for the old courthouse?
Yeah, at least
Sampling.
that, you know, or 3,000, and, you know, that's all we need in there to do the sampling and stuff.
Right.
And then, you know, get rid of the rest of it, because it's preliminary anyway for this year, and we might have to budget for next year.
This is for next year. This is for
Well,
next year, yeah.
I mean the year after that.
Yeah. Okay, what happens is, just so you know, what happens is this goes to the county, this is preliminary, and then they set up a hearing, okay? So people can come and review these and correct, and then say if they like it or not. Once this gets in, you can always cut, but you can't add, just so you know that. You know, once it goes into the county, we can't raise it, but we can lower it. Okay, just so you know, we can cut stuff, but we can't add any more to it, just so you know.
Okay,
How
so
that-
we
how that
work back.
works. Yeah. So what are you thinking then, Mike?
I'd like to keep, you know, at least 3,000 in there.
So about 3,000 for the old
Yep.
courthouse, and then cut the flooring and,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then the kitchen project, cut that,
Right. And,
and the painting.
well, the exterior, if we would happen to do something with the cement, we could keep it in there, and we could always cut that later.
Okay, let's leave that in there, okay?
We're leaving the 1,000 in there? Or no, the,
Yeah, I would think leave the 1,000 in the, for the exterior, just in case we do have to fix the rain gutters.
That works. So we change the old courthouse to 3, cut the next 2, and leave the 1,000 in there, okay? Okay, down to page 3.
Okay, so if you look at line 109, the computer server, again, these are no, you know, they all roll up into,
Yeah.
in the previous year, they roll up into that number, but it broke out for this year. That computer and server, that would be that second, you know, that second of the 3 computers, and one being this year, that would be one next year. I also had the IT person come up, that server that we currently have is old and will no longer be,
Where-
service or supported, very thank you, supported, and so we would need to replace it with another server. So that figure that's in there is that second computer and the funds needed for a new server. It will no longer be supported after 2019, but you'll have to purchase it in 19 to have it ready for 2020.
And then, after it's the video recording and monitoring system, the mic upgrade, if you guys watch the videos, this mic system is really bad. I mean, it's terrible. So if we're gonna have the videos, we gotta get a better mic system. Does anybody notice that?
Not really when I watched it, it just, all I heard was your squeaky chair. That's all I ever heard.
Right, move my chairs around.
I don't know if it's the chair or the mic, but.
Wow, I know that, was it the last meeting, maybe before, I could barely understand anybody, it was terrible, it was all raining, I heard it too. Yeah. We got Sioux Ferry Roof Repair, you know, that's owned by the park board. I'm not sure why everybody comes to us to fix that. You know?
So we take that out of there.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what about this fish cleaning station? Is that part of that sewage being pumped? Is that what that is, or?
Yeah, it's $160 times 12, or times, it was, I figured out the math, whatever it was, 2 times, wasn't it 2 times a
Two
month?
times a month, so 320
Right.
roughly.
Yeah, and I think you said till October, right? So
And
that's what it is.
that is something we can't stop.
No.
We need to keep
No,
going. Okay, you got, 124, the professional fees fire, they're, now back, they're requesting 22.6, correct?
That's
We
the
have a,
estimate that we have, yep.
we have a, their budget here, where I put it. All right, can't find it. You can't find it?
Yep.
Here.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, yep.
I almost think with this one, we should wait for Kit though, because it's his portfolio.
Okay, but just one more through here. Yeah, and we just got this, so we never had a chance to look at it, so, yeah, I guess I'd like to look it over a little bit better.
Do we know if they're might purchase anything major in the upcoming year?
Well,
Because if I read this, they have 61,000 in cash on hand.
I mean,
Is that how I'm reading it, or
yeah,
that's just in checking?
yeah.
But I don't
They
know.
have CDs, so they're basically sitting at about 20,000.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they were getting some extra for newer equipment. That I know they got new equipment here for booths and stuff. I don't see a truck or anything like that.
You know, the thing is, I mean, I'm not trying to understand, it looks like they took 2018, scratched out, put a 9 on
Yeah.
top, and gave us the same thing.
Right.
Or 17, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
17, 18. so
Right. So I don't know if their
Hey,
cash on hand's the same from one year to the next or not.
well, here, cash on hand as of 3/15/18. So it looks like this here might actually